What's up, this is Stephen Bloodworth, and I'm about to show you my entire Shockumentary collection on DVD and Blu-ray. So whether you call them shockumentaries, Mondo films, they're known pretty much today as mixtapes. I've seen a lot of them, and I own a lot of them, so I'm about to show you all the ones that I own in my collection. In this video, I'm going to talk about each shockumentary film I own in my collection, giving a little breakdown on it, talking about some of the companies that released these films, and some other stuff. Before we get into this video, if you're not already a subscriber, please consider hitting that subscribe button and stay tuned for all of my latest videos posted every Monday, Friday, and every other Wednesday. Alright, you saw the intro. This is my shockumentary collection. It's a mix of mainly shockumentaries, some Mondo, very few mixtapes, but I'm going to show you all of the shock films that I own on DVD. The first one up here, I need to get a better edition of this. I got this at a going out of business video store. This is Africa Blood and Guts, kind of similar to other films that take place in Africa. Just a bunch of African death. There's some genital mutilation included in this. A lot of gore and some voodoo stuff. Really weird one. This one was put out by a company called Briarcliff Entertainment. I'll go into more of these shockumentary companies in a little bit, but this is one company, Briarcliff, that put out a lot of these shockumentaries on DVD. The next bunch up here, these are the America's Sickest Home Video films. These ones are put out by Brain Damage Films. Brain Damage Films is known to be the one company with the largest shockumentary catalog in the world. And this is pretty much like in the same tradition of films like Traces of Death and Banned in America. These ones are also, besides death, these also include some just bizarre, disgusting footage, and right next to it is the sequel, Sickest Home Videos 2, and as you can see, it has a lot of more just outrageous stuff that is obviously, too twisted for TV. And then next to it, this one, Casey, the horror stash, sent me, America's Sickest Band Video. I've never heard of that series before, but one of these days I'll check it out, and maybe there's some other ones. And then over here, this one is American Firefighters, again put out by Brain Damage. This is pretty much just showing firefighters at work, doing their thing, putting out fires, and just showing some of the chaos that they have to go through. This one over here, this is another Brain Damage release. This is Bad Cops. This is pretty much just like a lower budget version of Cops. Pretty entertaining stuff if you like Cops, or if you just like shockumentaries in general, then Bad Cops is one that you'd probably enjoy. And then over here, we got the Banned in America series. A lot of these ones that were put out by Brain Damage were originally put out by another company called Anastas Entertainment Group. And Brain Damage eventually came and purchased all of these to put in the Brain Damage catalog, but this is the entire collection of the Banned in America series. And some people say it's similar to Traces of Death. Really, it isn't. It's less of a shocking, in-your-face film, and more of a informative film, if you would. Very difficult to wrap my head around. These are from another company that releases a lot of these, Wayne Entertainment. Or Wayne Enterprises. I always get that confused. If anybody knows anything on Wayne Enterprises, definitely let me know below, because I've tried looking these guys up, I can't find a thing on them. But these two releases are the Best of Band and Death Faces, and these came from the video store I got Africa Blood and Guts from, and I loved how they have the "You must be 18 or older" sticker, and the one next to it, if these ones have these stupid tops on them, so it takes me forever to get them back. The next one over here, this is The Worst of Band and Hell on Earth Part 2. Just another weird one from Wayne. And then over here, this is one of my few mixtapes. Somebody sent me this a while ago. This is a compilation of footage from bestgore.com. Rest in peace, Best Gore. For anybody that doesn't know, Best Gore used to be one of the top gore sites, similar to Rotten.com or the YNC.com, with just a bunch of death footage and just pictures of death and gore, but really bizarre stuff on that DVD. The next one over here, another one sent from Horror Stash. This is the York Stalker Ricardo Lopez Last Day. Don't really remember a lot about this one. I think I've seen it in Empty Pope before, but it's another oddity to the collection. Now this one here, this is probably the rarest one that I own in my collection. This is from the guy who did the Death Scenes films, and this is called Born Different, a history of human oddities, pretty much focusing on the quadriplegic from Todd Browning's Freaks, but this is just a really, really bizarre film. Now, me personally, I do not consider these shockumentaries, but if you go online, a lot of these lists do contain these films, and of course there's stunt videos, but people put the CKY films in with a lot of shockumentary lists, and do I consider them shockumentaries? Absolutely not, but just something interesting to point out. Then over here, kind of similar to Banned in America again, this is Caught on Tape Volume 1, put out by Brain Damage, and this is Caught on Tape Volume 3, put out by, who the hell put this one out? Madison Home Video? Don't think I've ever heard of them before, but those are the Caught on Tape films, again, similar to films like Banned in America. Then over here, these are all bootlegs, obviously. This one is Death Faces, a really, really great shockumentary. I'd highly recommend, if you love shock films, to check that one out. And another popular one, especially people who love the Asian shockumentaries, Death Farm, and there's several more additions to the series. This one is, of course, Volume 1. And then over here, this is Death Files, and this isn't the real cover, I just made my own from something else, but great stuff with all those Death Faces, Death Farm, and Death Files. And then over here, this one I did the review on a while ago, Ensuring Your Place in Hell, just a really bizarre film. And then this one, this is not a lot of people know of. This is the sequel, Ensuring Your Place in Hell 2. This was created by Jonathan Doe of Future Productions and Cinema's Underbelly on YouTube. And this one, I think I like a little bit more than the first one. There's definitely a lot more shocking footage in it. And the last scene with the OSHA video, that was a lot of fun. Now this one, for some reason, the first one was never released on DVD. This one is Executions 2, put out by Brain Damage Films. An interesting documentary on executions and different methods of executions. Then over here, this is the only one of the few Blu-rays that I know of that exist out there of Mondo and Shockumentaries, Faces of Death, the original. Don't know if I'll do a review on that. I'm curious to see what people would think. Then over here, this one, I definitely have to go back to these one day, but this is Faces of Gore. This is from Todd Chasland, and unfortunately, not much is known on him today. He's pretty much fallen off the face of the earth. I really wish I could get in contact with him, but Faces of Gore I definitely need to get back to, especially because I finally acquired Faces of Gore 3, and the best of Faces of Gore, which I just ran out of room and put Faces of Gore 4 on the DVD. And then over here, this one is the Faces, with a Z, Faces of Death 2000 series. I believe Steven Anastas owned these ones, and then Brain Damage picked them back up. Again, very similar to Banned in America and America's Sickest Home Videos. And over here, these are the Felony Fight films, and if you've seen Traces of Death 5, then you would know what these are about. These are pretty much backyard wrestling videos, but this is Felony Fights for Down and Dirty. And again, the Horror Stash sent me those a while back. And then this one is Felony Fights 5, Business as Usual. And if you like backyard wrestling, those are ones that you'd probably really dig. The next one is another Brain Damage one. This one is Gang Violence. Really nothing much to it besides a bunch of aftermath footage of what happens with gang violence and a lot of crime scene stuff in this as well. This one over here, this is another Brain Damage Films title. This is Going Postal. Just another one similar to Banned in America. A lot of death footage in this. And then this one is more of a Mondo title. I don't know if I would consider it a shockumentary, but it falls under the same category of films like Savage Man, Savage Beast, Goodbye Uncle Tom. It's a really shocking film, yes, but I don't know if I'd put it under shockumentary. But this is a really weird, shocking, just terrible, terrible, spirited film. Over here, this is another one from Brain Damage Films, Impact 911. This is just a bunch of, similar to other titles in their collection, of real emergency scenes, helicopter and plane crashes, car accidents, mainly a lot of aftermath stuff, but still another great one to have in the collection. And then similar to CKY, a lot of lists put the Jackass stuff in shockumentary lists, and me personally, I do not put them in the same category. It's just something interesting to point out. Maybe, I guess they would consider the early Jackass, but me personally, I just consider it comedy. And then over here, these are from Massacre Video, and Massacre Video has put out a good number of these shockumentaries. This is from Kiyotaka Surasaki, and this is his film Junk Films. And Kiyotaka Surasaki is known for his work in videotaping and taking photos of death. And this is one of these examples. This is also a really great one. I know a lot of people love it. And anything from Kiyotaka is just really, really great quality. Next up over here, another one from Woodhaven Entertainment. I think I got Briarcliff and Woodhaven confused. This one is called Kwahiri. This is pretty much similar to Africa Blood and Guts, with a lot of African tribes and just a lot of weird stuff in it. But I love these old style DVDs. This is an NX rental case, but still just a very bizarre film to have in the collection. I'd recommend, if you could find it, to check it out. And then we got some Mondo stuff, and here, this is the original Mondo Kane. Surprised that Blue Underground hasn't put out a Blu-ray of it yet, but this is where it all started. This is from 1962, and if it wasn't for Mondo Kane, I really don't know if I'd be making this video, to be honest. And this one, don't really know much about it compared to the first one, Mondo Kane 2. They did a lot of these Mondo Kane films, and in different series. Like this one is Mondo Magic, pretty much a voodoo movie, but they did Mondo New York, Mondo Los Angeles, a bunch of different ones. And of course, those ones are from Woodhaven Entertainment. This is from Renee Wisner, and This one is Mondo Siam. I talked to Jonathan Doe about it. This one is really good. I'd highly recommend it. But it's disgusting, yet it's a very peaceful film. And Jonathan Doe told me it's meant to be kind of like an art house film. But I would, if you can get this still from Future Productions, I'd highly recommend checking it out. Now, a lot of these shockumentaries were direct-to-video releases with very cheap quality graphics in them, and this is one of them. This is called More Than Smashed Pumpkins, with the cheapest effects of these pumpkins, and horrible narration, I must say. But when it comes to footage, I've seen a lot of this on other shockumentaries, but the footage itself is pretty disgusting and gory. And then over here, one of the few mixtapes that I owned. This is the MD Pope Most Disturbed Person on Planet Earth trilogy. Part 1 is a mix of both fetish and gore, very disgusting I must say, and some horrible animal cruelty. And then Part 2, this is the animal cruelty free edition, and a lot of people say MD Pope 2 is the worst in terms of most disgusting, and I don't know. I really don't know where to put it. Honestly, I think this one a lot of people don't know about, MD Pope 3. I think this one might be the most extreme. There's definitely a lot more gore than, death. Than, like, fetish pornography in it. And I heard they might be doing an MD Pope 4, not sure. Another one over here, I gotta be more creative with these covers. This is North Hollywood Shootout, and this one, you could see this on a bunch of different mixtapes, but this one is some pretty well-known footage as well. And then over here, another one from Woodhaven. This one is Of the Dead, pretty much just another, typical Mondo film. I don't remember watching that one, though, so I really can't tell you much about that one. And then another one from Kiyotaka Surasaki, probably the one he's most famous for, Orozco the Embalmer. This is a really great one. If you're especially interested in the embalming process, then this one you would absolutely love. It's in Spanish, but there are English subtitles, and it's a really excellent film, I must say. I don't recommend really a lot of Mondo shockumentaries, but Orozco the Embalmer, in my opinion, it's a must-see. Over here, another one from Brain Damage. This one is part of a trilogy. This is the first Paramedics. This is another one that Anastas Entertainment released, although on the DVD it says Seminal Films. But this is another one similar to Impact 911, where it's just like a lot of crime scene and paramedics doing their job. Really interesting, especially if you're in the field of paramedics and EMTs. And then over here, this one is Road Rage. Now, if you've seen any of those videos in Driver's Ed, this is pretty much the same thing. Just a bunch of accident footage with a lot of, and I mean a lot of gore. Similar to some stuff you've seen in Traces of Death, but if I can compare it to anything, probably the stuff you've seen in Driver's Ed. And then over here, similar to Goodbye Uncle Tom, I'm not sure what I would consider this to be, but this is the notorious Savage Man, Savage Beast, including the lion attack scene from Traces of Death Part 1, which is fake, of course. But this is one of the oldies, one of the old Mondo films of the time, and I don't know, drop a comment down below letting me know if you would consider that a Mondo shockumentary or what. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Over here, this is the Shock Extreme collection from Brain Damage Films. This is one you really don't hear people talking about, but this one is snuff films, and kind of in the same tradition of Traces of Death. I haven't seen this in years, but it's actually pretty interesting. The second one is, they're all different types. The second one is called Death.com, This one I really did not dig. It was just a bunch of pretty much a photo compilation. And then part 3 over here is Gangs of Death. This is the worst one of them all. I don't even think it's real footage. I think it's all staged because every single person, it's the same person, I want to say, lying on the floor with either a red bandana or a blue bandana with blood all over them. So I think it was just made as like a PSA video. And then this one, another backyard wrestling one, Real Fights. Kind of similar to backyard wrestling and bum fights, but pretty funny stuff in that one as well. Over up here, this one is Suspension. If anybody has seen Traces 5, with the whole suspension scene, this is pretty much a full documentary on the suspension industry, people that dig extreme piercings. Really interesting film on that, and I think there's some other ones as well. But yeah, if you're into suspension piercing, then you would definitely like that. And then of course, the thing that pretty much lifted my channel off the ground, the Traces of Death box set. A lot of people ask me how to get that box set. My best advice is contact Brain Damage Films via Facebook, and you'll most likely get information on how to get yourself a box set. And if you're lucky, Brain Damage himself will autograph it. And then this one over here, this is one that a lot of people know as well. This is True Gore. This is on a Blu-ray put out by a very underground company in the UK. This one is one of my favorites by far. The Blu-ray does contain Empire of Madness, which is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Not a shockumentary, just like a weird horror film, if I could call it that, but True Gore, definitely for hardcore Mondo and Shockumentary fans. Definitely one of the best. And here's another film from Kiyotaka Surasaki. This one is The Wasteland. This is one I actually just got the other day, haven't seen it, but this is another one that a lot of people hold up with Orozco the Embalmer. And the last one to show in this one, this is, I did the review of it, the world's grossest video. Probably the stupidest shock film out there. It was absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, that was my entire Shockumentary collection, and that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Thanks so much for coming by and checking this out. If you're new to my channel, definitely hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for all of my latest videos posted every Monday, Friday, and every other Wednesday. And also make sure to follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, to stay posted on what I'm doing behind the scenes of making these videos. Before you click off this video, don't forget to hit it with a thumbs up, and leave me a comment down below saying which Shockumentary is your favorite and which ones that I don't own that you would recommend me checking out. Until next time, take care and stay scared.